Welcome to Persian Square Free Speech Initiative on this Wednesday, April the 29th, 2026. This group is appointed to introduce you to the first principle of life for effective living that encourages you to love your source of life with heart, soul, and might, or your resources, that is revealed by how well you embrace others as your equal, and also how you approach your own personal development. Before we're able to express with heart, soul, and might our appreciation to the giver of life, we must first be creating that healthier self-image and striving to embrace others as equals at this physical academy of life, or as I often refer to our experience here on earth, as the School of Hard Knocks. Our source of life, who is the Father of all human creation, is also our dearest friend. Our dearest friend is also our senior partner in creating and in creations. Our true source of life, in fact, is life and is also identified as love. When we focus on life using this eternal and spiritual energy of love, we will be granted, I believe, more and more of the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom of our senior partner in life. Our Creator as life does not occupy a physical body, nor does he require anything physical, since he presented physical life into this that once was a major void, which he also generated for a spiritual purpose. That void at the very beginning was created for our spiritual growth, our physical to spiritual growth, as our friends, junior partners in creating and in creations. As heaven's sparks of divinity, or living souls, we possess the ability to emulate our Creator's eternal and spiritual essence, but in a physical form that is to contain that eternal and spiritual core of every physical action we generate within time and space. Our friend and our benevolent boss has presented you and me, his crowning achievement, with principles of life that direct our attention to others, to self-improvement, and when we combine those two principles, we learn to express to our Creator, the one who authorized this existence and granted it, we're able to express a deepening love for and trust in, yes, our senior partner in life. Not the bully, who some people express or explain that our Creator is a bully. He likes torturing people. He likes laughing when they mess up, and they can hear him saying, "Oh, I knew you couldn't do it anyway." That's man's gods, created in man's image and likeness, who are messed up. They're not identifiable as life, nor are those gods created by man capable of emulating anything ascribed to the energy of love. But the giver of life, who is in fact sheer energy and life, that's where life comes from, and is also love. Love and life fit together. It is love that perpetuates life, not death. The first principle of life is, of course, to be our primary focus. Yet, in order to present a focus on the first principle toward our Creator and appreciating life, we have to engage with the second and third principle of life, which directs our attention to self-improvement and also embracing others as equals. This arena on earth, this physical arena, is for our physical to spiritual development, because we already have a spark of divinity. That's how we can easily identify as a living soul. These three universal principles that began as eternal and spiritual and translated into the physical do not act alone, but are connected with each other in generating the eternal and spiritual results we're assigned to strive for. We're challenged to redeem time. At one time there was no time. Time was a creation of our eternal and spiritual source of life. And we're challenged to redeem this time experience and strive to perfect or mature ourselves while striving to the best of our ability to learn how to embrace others as equals. As previously shared in my other presentations, combining these two, principle that directs our attention to others and the one that directs our attention to ourselves, can be combined and permit us to ultimately express with heart, soul, and might a greater love for and a deeper trust in our source of life, who is, in fact, our best friend, not our enemy, not the one who sits back wanting to lord over his crowning achievement. Again, that is man's idea of a life giver, not the life giver. Our world is rife with divisive and competing political, religious movements that are led by control freaks, fearmongers, ego-driven, and self-appointed scholar gentry who have convinced themselves that they are the true representatives of the God they've created in their own mind. And let me try to direct your attention away from such foolishness and to the God who gave you life, who created you with the ability to emulate the spiritual and eternal essence of our life giver, who's identified as love, while you participate within this Academy of Life or School of Hard Knocks experience. We need the physical for some unknown, completely unknown reason. As far as I'm concerned, the Creator needed the physical for aiding his crowning achievement in acquiring the spiritual. So who am I to disagree with that? I think it's got to be pretty incredible, the fact that we're told we're free moral agents, capable of making our own decisions, but we have to learn how to do that. We have to learn, using the principles as or expressions from the mouth of our Creator, how to use our physical abilities for developing our spiritual essence while we perform physical duties on earth. Is that confusing for you? Our source of life is life, not some fat man sitting up on a throne messing with people. Sheer life-generating energy, perpetuated by what is also identifiable as our Creator, love. As we understand it, love is the energy for promoting, producing, creating, generating life within our universe. When we embrace our Creator's approach to life using the energy of love, since we can emulate our Father in heaven, what he does at that higher level of spirituality, we can, if we use words that originated in the spiritual realm and translated into the physical application, and we embrace that physical application and act upon it, we too can become junior partners in creating and in creation. When we embrace our Creator's approach to life using this magnificent eternal energy of love with all we attempt to achieve within time and space, we're actually emulating our one and only eternal spiritual source of being while we occupy time and space. I know it goes right over the head of most people, and some have become discouraged and no longer wish to connect with what I present. And I'm sorry to hear that. You can learn. You're made in the image and likeness of the Creator. You've had your head so filled full of death cult-oriented stuff, and the control freaks love to maintain control over the gullible, naive, uninformed, and misinformed, that perhaps you've been categorized as one of those and been manipulated by someone who's made you think you're the idiot and they're the superior. That's not the case. When you've had something pounded into your head from the time you were born, like you're insignificant, you are unworthy, you are guilty of stuff you have no idea what's all involved, but yet you're guilty. When you get all wrapped up in this stuff, it's someone effectively using fear, anxiety, and guilt-related issues to keep you in a subservient role. And the Creator of the universe says, I put you in charge of my creation, to rule over the land, air, and sea creations. I appointed you to also put the finishing touches of perfection on your own being, to perfect yourself and mature yourself as a crowning achievement. But I never permitted you, according to our Creator and His expressions, to try and rule over others with whom you share this precious gift of life. You're trying to represent the Creator of life. How can you be guilty of anything if you're given a free moral agency position? You're given words of life as expressed from the mouth of our Creator. You just simply have to get busy connecting with them and putting them into action within time and space, because you choose to put those words of life into action, and not because someone scares the tar out of you and tells you if you don't do what they tell you to do, you're going to be destroyed or tortured or go through all kinds of agony and pain and suffering. Our source of life and as love. This is energy. Remember, our Creator is life-producing energy. He was here long before there was anything physical, so he has no physicality attached to his being. He is sheer life-generating energy, and you can say love, because he permits it to rain on the righteous as well as on the unrighteous. And it's the desire, according to what's been expressed or recorded as having been expressed by our Creator, that each crowning achievement should learn to do the same as our Father in heaven does at the spiritual level within the realm of the physical. Because, why do I say that? In the image and likeness of our Creator is not talking about a physical appearance. It's talking about the ability, while you occupy this physical body, to emulate that which is eternal and spiritual as revealed by our Creator. We're assigned to control. We get part of our development, part of our perfection. So we're assigned also to control that animalistic part of our own human nature and bring our conduct into conformity with the will of heaven. You understand that? You know, there's some nasty stuff that we were given. You didn't volunteer for that nasty stuff. It was just made part of you. You're flawed. You know, hope you don't get an inferiority complex because of that, but everyone on this planet is flawed for a heavenly spiritual purpose. The earth itself is flawed. The creation is flawed. That's why our Creator says to his crowning achievement, you and me, dress it, keep it, maintain it, rule over the land, air, and sea creations, rule over yourself, but do not rule over your fellow man. Heaven's crowning achievement is appointed to develop a meaningful representative role. How can you feel guilty about stuff when the Creator himself says you represent him within time and space? Those who may believe that they love our Creator and they always talk about a God, they love God, and they treat their fellow man badly. They're doing nothing to improve themselves. They're sitting around maybe sucking off at the public trough because they They can take care of themselves, but they're not willing to do so. I know there are those citizens that we have that we must take care of them. That's why the universal social welfare system was established by our Creator, so we can take care of those who can't financially take care of themselves. But those who sit around who can do something, who can take care of themselves, and refuse to do it, you're in trouble. That's not part of your assignment. Your assignment is to make the world a better place in which to live. You're supposed to wear out and not rust. Our source of life as life and love has no physical needs, but has ways and thoughts that differ from our physical ways and thoughts. We're to learn all about our Creator's ways and thoughts, and we learn about His ways and thoughts by reading what He said. Our Creator doesn't say one thing and do another. What our Creator is reported as expressing tells you and me about His ways and His thoughts. I realize most of our friends who view the videos or the written material have been informed about 10 commandments. And I tell you right now, the word commandment is a mistranslation. Basically, it's our duty or duties, but we get to choose to do them or perhaps not at this time. When our Creator speaks, He's speaking from the realm of eternity as love and as the giver of life. Those words of life have been translated into a physical form, so we, as living souls, occupy in this physical earth suit, can put into action those things we can connect with physically and produce at the core of each of these activities the same spirituality that existed when those words were first expressed from the mouth of our Creator. As representatives of our amazing and incredible provider of life, we possess the ability to emulate, copy, mimic, at the physical level, the eternal and spiritual essence emanating from the one who is life-producing energy and uses love and is also identified as love. Let's recall how our source of life presented the eternal and spiritual way in a physical form so we could connect. We're now encouraged to use the physical in revealing the eternal and spiritual energy at the core of every physical action we produce. Okay, let's identify it for what it is. We are reverse engineering the spiritual words that were expressed from the beginning from the mouth of our eternal and spiritual source of life. We connected with them physically and we produce life-generating energy using love within time and space. Questions? I hope so. Thank you for stopping by Persian Square Free Speech Initiative. Every Wednesday we focus on the Almighty, who is our friend and senior partner in life. We're assigned to represent our giver of life as his assigned free moral agents of the Creator of life, appointed to rule over the land, air, and sea creations and to rule over ourselves, but to avoid any attempt to rule over those with whom we share this precious gift of life. Is that all that difficult for you? I don't know. Too many people have you hung up on stuff that is totally has nothing to do with your earthly assignment to represent life and love. Since God is life and God is love, and you can emulate our Creator. We're talking about creating life, generating life, and you do that when you effectively use love. Be well, be blessed. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you have time to drop in tomorrow.